I did it. Oh, can't bring Daniel.
Hey, Jesus Christ.
Oh my God. We did it, but now it's on my phone.
Yeah, and I'm on my phone too. Obviously, computers aren't a thing anymore.
Whatever, Jocelyn. You don't know everything all the time. But then how do I make it so that I am not holding my phone?
I just set it down right in my computer. That's what I'm doing.
That's what you're doing? All right.
I just like.
But then. Okay, hold on. Let's see.
There you go.
Okay. Easy. All right. Okay. Right on.
Alrighty.
Okay. So, welcome to my live broadcast where I am I'm really calmed down now, but like that was a lot of work. That was
a lot of work. That took over an hour of trying.
I feel all flustered. My hair, like I was all fresh with good lip gloss and everything.
You got the fan going on in the background.
Yeah, I got all hot. Okay, so let's see. So again, welcome to my live broadcast. I'm doing this because I thought it'd be a great idea for someone just to kind of sit in and listen in to a conversation that I have often with clients or friends or family. And this particular conversation just kind of struck home because I do a lot of loans for veterans and active duty military. And then this one was a little unique because I'm not usually so close to someone that's just getting out of the military. And when we hung out last time and we had this conversation, I thought, God, what great content for a video. And I thought you just had so many questions.
I mean, I did. It's a lot. Like, it's a lot to try to like analyze when you're getting out and you have all these opportunities and you don't get the chance to talk to people about it. And so definitely figuring out that you did real estate and then wanting to come into it, I had a boatload of questions.
So Daniel is a sergeant with the US Marine Corps in Camp Pendleton, California. And his big question is, hey, Teresa, I'm getting out of the military and I want to be a real estate investor. Right? Is that basically how it all started?
That's just, get into real estate investing.
Yeah. So what I want to do is kind of hold the questions until the end. And then we'll answer any questions. Steve Dexter is on the call with us, Daniel. And Steve is a mentor and peer of mine. And he owns, I don't know how many free and clear properties. So he's a pretty big time single family investor. And he used to do loans with me. So he's listening in. Okay, so let's get started. So why don't you just kind of start, Daniel, kind of like recreate that conversation again. And I think it's good for you to have this conversation again because we covered a lot of stuff last time.
We did. Well, okay. So it all started because I am, as the post says, I am transitioning out of the Marine Corps in the next month. I'm going back to Boston. However, I fell in love with Southern California. Like who wouldn't? I've been here for 4 years and I completely fell in love with it. And so I want to come back, but I did see how very tough it is to like own property out here and how expensive it can get. And so my mind started working like, how can me, someone who's just leaving the military, going back home, but with a plan to come back, could ever integrate in like real estate out here in California, Southern California.
Right. Well, now that you have like 15 surfboards, I mean, you have to come back.
Oh, exactly. No, I already invested too much into this to just leave.
Okay. So, when in owning real estate, you have to buy it. So the big thing is qualifying. So in purchasing a home and you're just getting out of the military and you are going to college, correct?
That's correct. Yes.
So you cannot qualify for financing on your GI Bill.
Right.
So you have to have a regular income.
Right.
So for you to purchase right now today, what it would take is someone to do what's called a non-occupant cosign. So let's say you were to buy a house in California, we were to scout out an area that penciled or cash flowed, which is very difficult to do right now. You know, there's not a lot of investors purchasing in California right now because the prices are very high,
Right.
and the rates, you know, I mean, a 4 or 5% rate, that's not terrible, but where our prices are on a 30-year fixed loan, it's really high. So what you have right now primarily purchasing are owner occupants, and it's on a case-by-case basis whether or not it makes sense. I mean, we talked about if you were to purchase, you're very interested in income property, duplexes and triplexes, and it really just kind of comes down to cash flow. You know, if you put down 5% and, you know, the mortgage payment is $4,000 and you collect $4,000 of rents, well, that's a buy recommendation all day long.
Right.
But if the mortgage payment is $6,000 and you could only get $3,500 or $4,000 in rent, but your mortgage payment is $6,000, well, that doesn't make sense for most people.
Right.
So for most people, it wouldn't make sense. That's why purchasing in California is tough right now. You know, we're nearing the top of our market. Real estate goes in cycles. You know, it's always going up and going down, and we're, you know, toward the top of that peak.
Right.
So
So
in order,
I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, you can.
So you're saying, like, if I were to be able to, since I don't have that income, yeah, granted, like BAH rates, like the basic allowance for housing that people that are using the GI Bill would get over in Boston's around like $3,200 a month.
Okay.
Around here, it's like $2,800 a month, depending on the zip code. But you're
Right.
saying that wouldn't qualify for that income, right?
That's correct, because that BAH is based on your GI Bill right now. So you're getting that not because you're active, you're getting that because you're going to school.
Right, exactly. So even though I have that money, the only way I'd be able to do it is to co-sign with somebody who qualifies, and then do a what did you call it? What did you refer to? Rent or owner?
So it's a non. So basically, your mom who lives in Boston, if you were to happen to go to school in California and you were to happen to find something, your mom in Boston could co-sign for you. You could buy a 3-bedroom single family dwelling. You could live in, because you need money. You're gonna get a housing allowance.
Right.
So you could rent one of the, you would be in one of the rooms, and you could rent the other 2 rooms out for a couple $1,000s.
Oh,
right. So if you were to be able to find a house where you could purchase it and the payments were $3,000 a month, and if you were to find tenants that could rent it out, and if your mom qualified for the entire payment, because remember, we can't use you don't have income that qualifies you.
Wow, that's crazy. So you'd be using the money from the tenants to basically pay it off, and then that BAH rate would cover whatever's left, and you'd be practically living, even though I didn't qualify, with a different a loan, a cosign, and then live here, and that sounds pretty.
Yeah, now you could do that, and if this were, if you would have hit me up when you first went in like 4 years ago, wow, what a phenomenal time to buy. Yeah, like,
yeah, you can't time.
But right now, that recommendation, I would have a hard time recommending that for you, only because I know where you want to live. Like the furthest out, you wouldn't even live in Corona. You've been living in San Clemente, God's country, right? Orange County.
Exactly.
You don't want to go inland to the Inland Empire, do you?
I mean, to be honest, to just stay out here, I would definitely consider it, because it's, but yeah, I mean, ultimately it'd be a dream to live in like the beach cities, but it's anywhere in SoCal is definitely somewhere I'd love to live.
Okay. But let's talk about the reality is that you're not going to school out here. You're going to school back in Boston. So we talked about you going to school, and I always feel like when people say, oh, I want to own real estate, or I want to be an investor, then seek out people with that kind of knowledge that can guide you. Whenever I first started looking at investing, because I always knew that you can achieve wealth through real estate ownership. I mean, so many people I know, they're wealthy not because they buy and sell it, but because they keep it. They hold
right,
it.
right.
Yeah. And so to me, that's, you know, that's how you create true wealth through real estate, is you don't sell it. And all the people I know that are really wealthy, like all the old timers, they all have real estate, and they didn't sell it the last go round. They kept it. With the exception of, you know, a lot of times you'll amass real estate in the good times, and you might not keep it in areas where you want to hold on to it. And so you sell it at the top of the market, maximize, and then pay your other houses off, which is what a handful of investors that I know do.
So what kind of options do I have, like going into Boston, and then again with that cosign? I guess if we didn't have to go, obviously I have to qualify. Obviously I have to qualify, but what kind of, if I had like an initial investment, would that make it easier? Would that, I mean, obviously I think that'd make it easier. But how, in terms of what? Maybe even how much I need.
So, okay, so let's see. So that fan is bothering me. Hold on. Too much wind. Okay, sorry. Okay, so going to Boston, what is the price point in Boston, like for just a regular, nice single family property?
Well, okay, so I looked into like the outskirts, not necessarily like Metro Boston, more like suburban areas. And you can get like a two family for like 260, 280.
Wow.
Yeah.
What would one of those units rent for?
Rent, like a 2-bedroom house is usually around that area, is renting at like $1,500-$1,600 a month.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah. No, I'm completely.
And you could get it for you could get something for 260.
Yep, like in the super out. I mean, it's not like it's not the greatest areas to live and stuff like that. They're definitely.
Yeah, but what you want as an investor, you know what? Yeah, it's good to invest in like the greatest areas. I mean, who doesn't want to own property in Newport Beach?
Right.
But for the average person, it's really unattainable. You know, what you can, to relate that to our market in Southern California, you can purchase stuff in Riverside County and San Bernardino County that pencils. And that's where a lot of investors purchase, a lot of these single family homes investors purchase. And you can pick something up in Boston for $260,000 and like what they call kind of like more like middle America, right? So it's not the best area, but it's not the worst area.
Right, exactly.
Would that be fair to say? And you could rent it for, so there's 2 units, and you could rent each unit for $1,500.
Yeah, I think that's what one of my cousins is doing. Let me go ahead and fact check myself.
Okay. So Daniel.
Yes.
If that's the case, then you would, let's say your payment on 260. Okay, so how we would structure that. So you're in Boston, you're going to school in Boston.
Yes.
So you need a place to live in Boston because you don't want to live with your family. Right. So you're going to go live in this duplex. And so what you would do is you would qualify for the duplex using your mother's income. So you're going to live there as an owner occupant. You'll be living there in one of the units, and then you're going to rent the other unit out. So when you're qualifying, you can qualify and use that the rent of the other unit to qualify you to purchase it.
Like the cash flow?
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So let's say it's a 2-bedroom, 1 bath, and there's a 3-bedroom, 1 bath. So what you would do is you would live in the 3-bedroom, 1 bath, and you'd rent the 2 and 1 out. That's usually kind of how it works. Is they will give you credit for the lesser one, or if they're both 2 and 1s, then we'll give you credit for one of them or whatever. And so you would not. Okay. So when you're purchasing using your VA benefit, that's an owner-occupied loan, and the only person that can go on the loan is your spouse.
Really?
So yeah, so your mom, you could not use your VA benefit to purchase if you yourself didn't qualify
Okay,
for that.
okay.
However, what a great way to get started. You know, you would need to find, I would recommend going to investor meetings. Like, okay, so that thing that I invited you to in
Fine.
Irvine this
Yeah.
weekend, you know, that's where you have to just find things, and you have to invest in yourself, and you have to invest. Time is the biggest factor to invest, and you have to learn about real estate. I mean, I could tell you stuff till I'm blue in the face, but it's not just, you know, being your own person is taking all kinds of different point of views and filtering them best how they fit you or best how they apply to your life.
Right.
But finding the right people. I fell in with some really good people in my area, and I follow till this day. And Bruce Norris is one of the bigger ones that he's going to be speaking on Saturday, and I followed him, and he's just called everything perfectly. You know, the market timing, and when you tell somebody, anytime I mention somebody, like, yeah, you know, just be careful right now. You know, we're approaching the top, and you just, you know, want to be careful. You want to proceed with caution. Oh yeah, well, things always go up and always go down, but not everybody knows when. You know, that timing is one of the hardest things to do. And in your market, I don't know the Boston market at all, so like I would have no idea how to advise you there. But you would need to get active in that particular area and go to real estate investing events and just sit there and be a fly on the wall and make friends. You're so like charming and friendly. I'm sure you can make friends with a million people.
I appreciate it.
Or half a million.
I hope so too. No, definitely for sure.
Yeah.
And that, like you just said, like integrate yourself in that community wherever you're going, and see like what type, like what opportunities are out there for you. That's what I'm gonna try to do. I definitely want to see, like, most importantly, want to see like the options that in the types of benefits. I mean, I know you're gonna stay out here, and you're probably gonna run into a lot of former military that is gonna want to use the VA benefit in a home, and things like that. So answering those questions definitely help me understand it a little better. I understand, like, but even at that, like, I've had conversations with multiple colleagues of myself that are in the real estate investment, and they even tell you that, like, it's not necessarily, it's an amazing option, but it's not necessarily like the best option a lot of the times, because yes, you have to, you know, it's a 0% down. However, obviously with 0% down, it's the payments are a little larger than usual and things such as that. So I guess kind of like explain when it would benefit you most to use the VA loan as opposed to a regular FHA or whatever other types of options there are.
Well, the VA loan is an owner occupied loan. And the VA loan is like, talk about a kick-ass loan product. Okay, so even though it's zero down, you don't have monthly mortgage insurance, and the rates are super low. So it has like some of the lowest rates, no monthly mortgage insurance. It's kind of equivalent to like a conventional loan putting 10% down. I mean, it's a really, really top-notch benefit, and you can use it to purchase multifamily, and you can use it all across the United States, and it's a perfect thing. I think for you, and you can only have one. Okay, there's always exceptions to the rules, and VA is a very tricky product. So typically you'll get a VA loan when you're going to live there and you're more established, or if you have income, you can have, let's say, okay, let's say this. Let's say you graduate and you get a loan VA, and then and you're in Boston and you have a VA loan out there. But then you're gonna come to California and you're gonna purchase in California. Well, you can have two VA loans at the same time. It's very unusual, and there are certain circumstances that surround it. But you can depart Boston, keep your VA loan there, and turn that into a rental, and then purchase a home zero down in California, or wherever it is that you end up.
Okay.
But remember, you on the VA loan, that's only you.
Right.
And your wife when that happens.
Right. Exactly. Okay.
When are you getting married?
No idea. We'll see where things go. But right now the focus is that wealth building and like professional
Right.
development. So
Okay.
that
All
goes.
right. Let's bring it back to business. Okay. So then with the VA, we talked about how that's just you and a spouse.
Right.
And then the FHA, it can be you and your friend, or you and a partner, you and a relative. So on the FHA, it can be whoever. And usually those low down purchases are used the first time you buy something. So you can buy multifamily with an FHA loan and, you know, put very little down, versus when you buy multifamily with conventional, you need like 20 or 25% down. So that's a great strategy, is to, you know, your first rental property, have it be an income property. I don't know the Boston market, so I don't know. I purchased, you know, we talked about how I purchased in Texas, and I thought, oh, it's so great buying like 5 properties in Texas, but Texas doesn't really go up.
Right.
So that was a terrible idea. And what's the worst thing about having a shitty renter? What's worse than having a shitty renter in Riverside?
Is
having a shitty renter in Texas.
yeah. I used that. It's funny. It's true, because you can't.
Yeah. So for me, that's for me. It did not work out for me investing in properties where I didn't live or have a strong connection with professionals that could assist me with finding property managers.
Right.
So when you're it, because really it's pretty easy to buy on the scale of things, it's managing it. You know, how are you going to manage it? What are the tenant laws? How do you protect yourself? What kind of contracts do you need? What are the laws in the areas that you're going to have that property? And that's where you have to educate yourself, not just in property or in real estate, but you have to become a property manager.
Right. You have to
yeah, and even if you farm that out, if you farm that aspect out, you need to know how to manage the property managers.
Right.
So nobody cares about your property like you do. And the first property, you should be managing that yourself. You know, don't turn that over to some Yahoo.
Right. Yeah, you should definitely take pride on the first home you own, and want to see it like from the beginning to where it could potentially grow. So I think that's where I would find myself if I obtained a property. I'm definitely gonna, you know, keep tabs on it myself before I grow. Hopefully, before I grow large enough to need a property manager, need somebody else,
right?
Delegate that to somebody else.
Okay. So, what are some of the other questions that you have?
I think, like I said earlier, my goal, my end state is to come back to California. And I know right now the market's super high. Right now, asking these questions to buy should probably be deferred to another day, because but it's good to at least have that knowledge. So what type of like debt to income ratio would someone need with a you know a pretty normal loan, whether it be like, I'm talking about percentage wise, like what type of income would I need, and then how much would that need to be set aside for your mortgage and things like that? Do you understand the question? What I'm trying?
Yeah. Well, so typically in mortgages, let's say for FHA, conventional, VA, the general guideline is that 35 to 40% of your income go to the house payment. So if the house payment's $1,000, or I'm sorry, if your income is $1,000 a month, then your mortgage payment should only be around $400.
Okay. Okay.
Now your mortgage payment and all of your debts shouldn't be any more than some guidelines are around 45, but you can push it up to 50 or 56. But I would say a safe rule would be 50%. So you really don't want more than 50% of your house payment and your bills
to be more than 50%.
Yeah.
Okay.
Of your income.
Okay.
So ideally, that's what you're going to be looking for. And you know, budget wise, that's what you're looking for too. I mean, shoot, you shouldn't be 75. There's no way that 75% of your income can go towards, you know.
You couldn't really have much of a life if all your income is just going straight to your debts.
Right. No, you wouldn't have a life. You wouldn't be able to buy 15 surfboards and all that stuff. Or shoes. You would get no new
Yeah,
shoes.
it'd be pretty stagnant. Like, but and now what? Again, I guess this question is just terrible timing to ask. But what with that? What type of house would you be able to afford? So let's say, just for numbers' sake, you're making 75,000 a year, right? So
Okay.
I don't have. I mean, I'm not great at math, and I'm using my phone as a calculator, but or thing. But what kind of with
Let's
1,000 a
see.
year? What kind of mortgage payment? What's that debt to income ratio that you would need for mortgage payments? And then with that, what value of home can you afford?
Okay. So you said $75,000 a month?
No,
or
year. Oh God.
A month. Okay, so you're making 75,000 a year.
Mm-hmm.
Divided by 12, so that's 6,200 a month. Let's see. I know you're asking me like all like hard questions. I'm under the.
It's all good. Like we can
what if I had performance anxiety or something? Okay, 400. So let's see. Let's do 400,000. I'm just gonna do a super basic FHA loan. Okay, 3.5% down, $14,000. Okay. So here's a really good scenario. So you have a sales price of $400,000.
Okay.
3.5% down, and your total payment is around $2,800, and you need to make $6,200 a month.
Okay.
And that is you having a car payment and a couple of credit cards.
Right.
And that puts you. Here, I don't know if you can. Oh, I can turn my camera around, can I? Huh? Technology. Can I?
Yeah.
Or I can't?
Can't you?
No.
I can with me.
We barely went live. It took like
I know, right?
act of God just to go live. Well, I'll just turn around and see if you could see it. Can you see it?
I can, yes.
You can? Yeah. So $400,000 sales price. I've got it at 4 3/4 right now, which that's about right. Or if we paid some closing costs, we could bump the rate up to like 5 1/4. Okay. So 400,000 in our market is going to put you out in I don't know, like San Bernardino, Riverside, somewhere around there, those areas, plus or minus.
Okay.
So 400,000 right now, the payment's 2,800. I don't know that if you bought a $400,000 house that it would yield a $2,800 rent. Actually, it would not.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, a $400,000 house is going to be in Moreno Valley, San Bernardino, and a $400,000 house in those areas, it would probably rent for like $2,200 or $2,300, kind of somewhere in there. So it wouldn't really translate. Right. Now, as an owner occupier, now what if you put more money down? So what if you put 10% down? Okay, you're putting 10% down, which is $40,000. Then your payment is $2,500. So if you rented it for $23,000, but your payment's $25,000, that would actually, you're losing a little bit of money every month. But it's a really, really good write-off. So it would be a wash.
Right, it's building equity and things like that.
Yeah, you're building equity. Exactly, you're building equity, and you have that write-off. And
right.
And the good thing about rental property is rents go up. Just like, I mean, property values go up and down, but for the most part, rents have remained very stable. And because the prices are so high, rents have, like, landlords are enjoying a lot of rewards because the rents are going up every month.
Okay.
Now, so really purchasing right now in California is really on a case-by-case basis. We have loans right now, and the people are doing, and they're all owner-occupied loans. I don't have investors purchasing traditional money. You know, if you weren't able to do something where your name is on it, you know, where you're not able to owner-occupy it, you're going to have to put 20-25% down.
Oh, man.
So you're going to need a lot of cash.
A lot of cash on hand.
Yeah, a lot of cash. So, you know, the first few purchases that you do, you want to set it up where you're getting owner occupied financing, because those terms are so generous. And so the rates are so low. The
Right.
down payments are really nice.
Right.
So typically, when you can, you would purchase your first couple properties owner occupied.
Okay. Okay. Definitely good to have that knowledge.
Man, you like know so much now,
I do.
don't you? Does it feel like it's all sinking
Yeah,
in?
like especially, and then when we had the first like in-person talk, definitely learned a lot.
Yeah.
And it got the best part about it is it got my like brain juices going, and like you were able to kind of like research things on your own, and I was able to look at things in my specific area and learn more things about what I need to get there, such as like the VA loan. You can't just give them your DD 214, which is the form you get at the end. You need to literally apply for it and get a certificate of eligibility. So you need to do a lot of things, like a lot of not a lot of legwork, but there needs to be some sort of legwork done, so you can get to where you need to be. And then with that, it's smooth. It's smooth. Like the learning curve, I think it's smooth. I think applying it is going to be tough, and like trying to get out there and doing more is probably going to be tough. But the knowledge part of it is not that hard to understand and to.
Well, I think that you're in a perfect position. I really do think that, to buy in a year and a half or 2 years is going to be a really, really great time to buy. So if you're able to go back to Boston, and maybe, I know you were going to be getting a little bit of money, maybe you and your family can purchase a multi-unit in Boston, as like your first place, and get started with that. And then we'll first start learning about the Boston market and about rents, and, educate yourself and being a property manager, and, network with some local real estate people while you're going to school. And because you're not going to have anything better to do.
Yeah.
Right? You're going to be so busy. And then you'll have that under your belt, and you'll be primed and ready to go for when our market takes a downturn.
And then,
so you're going to be in like a perfect position, and then you could be a California boy again.
Oh, I would love that. Yep. I think that's a great like foreseeable future. Just like go back home, build myself there, maybe even myself there, and then watch California with like binoculars from like far away, and see when it starts becoming an easier platform to dive in on and take advantage of. Obviously, right now it's a little tough, but once the prices go down and I'm able to snag something, I'll have some sort of like infrastructure already because of that.
Oh yeah, you'll have a foundation. You'll have a really solid foundation. And we'll save you a little plot of land out there in San Clemente.
I would love that. I would love to come back home. 4 years here, and you never get.
What if you're like, is San Clemente like your favorite little beach town? Because you've been all up and down the coast.
I would say so. I would say it's probably. Well, the thing is, it's the first city in Orange County, so it's like I feel like no one really goes there, because you have this huge stretch of the 5 that's Camp Pendleton, so you can't like hang out. It's literally the last city.
So it's not as touristy as like the
exactly. Like you go to Laguna on a weekend, it's impossible. It's impossible to hang out in Laguna on a weekend. There's no parking.
So no purchasing for you in Laguna. Too touristy.
Yeah,
okay.
Too touristy.
We'll check that one off the list.
Yeah, but San Clemente is definitely like a low key. I would say it's like the icon of SoCal, if you ask me. Like it just has everything. It's perfect. So love to live here if I ever get the opportunity to.
Well, they do have the legendary surf spots.
Oh yeah, for sure. So. Trestles, Sano, T Street, all those good spots. Even the pier.
All right, hon. So okay, so we'll wrap it up then. And you can, we'll save this video and you can reference it in the future. You can always just call me too. And then when you have any friends or family that are looking to buy or sell in California, you could obviously drop my name, or viewers out there, if you're looking to buy or sell in California and are looking for someone experienced that can help you with the task at hand, you should give me a call at 909-920-3500. Daniel?
No, yeah. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank
Thank you so much.
And hey, good luck to you. You know, Daniel's got a U-Haul coming, or no, you're going to get a U-Haul in a little bit?
Yeah, I'm going to drive. I'm going to make the drive back home. It's going to be tough. 10 long days, but.
I kind of feel sad for you because I know that you really like our town. You like our city.
I'll be back.
You love
with this.
You'll be back.
For sure. With this knowledge and everything that I'm leaving here, there's no way that I'm not going to come back. There's no way. I will.
All right.
Thank you very much, Teresa.
You're welcome. You have a nice day, okay? And thanks for being so patient with us.
Absolutely. And likewise. Bye-bye.
Okay. All right. Bye-bye. All right. And that's how you do live videos.